Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Lisa's Coloring Corner. In the previous video, I showed all of my pencils that I have in my coloring supplies. Today, I wanted to show all of my markers. And of course, markers take up a lot more room than pencils do. So I have some on the floor here beside me, and I will be having to get some off my desk here as I show them. So bear with me as I put things on the floor back behind me. My biggest, most expensive set, of course, and took me a long time to collect these babies, is the entire Copic set. Love this case. I got it on Etsy, as well as the wooden insert inside, which was created just for the Copic sketch. You can get an insert for the chows or the originals. They have a lot of different things, different types of these wood inserts for different markers. Everybody knows what the Copics look like. They have the typically the chisel tip. I replaced all my chisel tips with the fine tip because I do not like chisel tips. But they have the fantastic brush tip, and that's what I really love on these. But yes, I did replace all of the chisel tips with the fine tips. So I did have this chart printed out at Office Max. It shows the entire color wheel of the Copic collection. And also I created a color chart, let me get it out, for the Copics. Of course, I had to create something, you know. So the color chart that I created, I went in order of what I typically do, the yellows and oranges, reds, and so on. So I kept them all in column format. As you can imagine, they go on and on and on. But yeah, this is the color chart that I created. The earth tones, because there are so many, you know, are just on the last page. And then here is the hex chart again that Sandy Allnutt created, and I use this the most. It again groups them all in color families, and I can very easily see with this chart what colors go with what and what I want to blend with, etc. So I do like that hex chart. Alrighty, so yeah, the biggest set that I have. I do also have the Copic Fineliners in here. These are not the refillable ones. Those are quite a bit more. These are just the use it and toss it Fineliners. So yes, have those also. Alrighty, I will have to, of course, turn around and put these on the ground, or floor, I should say. Okay, the next ones that I have are the Chameleons, and let me bring you down a little bit and over. Sorry about that. Okay, these are the color tones. Now, when I swatched these out, I did each one for 15 seconds so that I could see which one brought color in faster. As you can see, the darker tones bring color in much faster than the light tones. So as you use these Chameleon markers, you have to kind of keep that in mind as you what do I want to say? Put the blender top on them. I do also have all of the color tops for all of these. And let me go get them. They're kind of buried over here. I took the cover off of the Chameleon case ahead of time because I really have a hard time getting the cover off of these. It comes with a sliding on cover, and mine is a little warped in here, so it really is hard to get it off. I want to see if I can spread that cover back out so it's not so difficult to get back on and off. But it comes in this really nice heavy-duty case, and you can set them up like this, turn them around, put this down, and your markers are very easily accessible. For those of you who have never seen Chameleon markers, yes, they look extremely long, but when you're using them, you're taking off this blender top. So actually the marker itself is actually quite short. So you have this very fine, it's called a Japanese brush tip. The problem with these is they're quite soft and they do fray quite easily. They're a very fine brush tip though, which is kind of nice. And then the other end, you have the fine bullet tip. So for me, this is the best of both worlds because I like my brush tips and my fine tips. So this is the Chameleon markers. This is a set of 50. The set of 50 comes with a detailed pen and then the colorless blender here. Okay, so that is the Chameleon markers themselves. And then the color tops, oh, I almost spilled every single one of these. The color tops that come to match them are small in size, and I put all of mine in this case. Instead of blending with just the colorless blender where you go from light to dark in the same tone, you can make thousands and thousands of different color combinations where you blend from, say, green to blue or blue to green, depending on what marker and what color top you use. So this looks, the color top itself looks exactly like the top part of the Chameleon markers. There is a brush nib in there, and you just put the Chameleon markers and blend with this color, and then that is the color that will come out on your paper. Again, I won't go into details on how to use these. If anybody has any questions, let me know. For those of you with Chameleon markers, do you like them? There are pluses and minuses to using the Chameleons, and there is definitely a big learning curve to these because they are very, very different than your typical marker. All right, next I have the 168 set of the Sioux colors. Now, I had mentioned in a previous video that I got very positive feedback. So I am going to be giving away this big set of 168 when I reach 1,000 subscribers. So this is going to be the giveaway for 1,000 subscribers, and they look like this. They come in this black bag. Because I am giving them away, I took them back out of the marker case that I had them in, and I replaced them with my Limoche markers that I just got. But just to give you a peek, this is what they all look like. They have the number and the color name on each of them. So again, these will be in a future giveaway. Okay, so that is the Sioux color markers. And then I do have the Limoche. These are my newest markers. Just put out a video swatching all of these out. Beautiful, beautiful markers, wonderful colors. Some of the names are a little goofy, but the tops of these markers, the caps, very closely resemble the ink that is inside. So to me, that was more important than having appropriate color names. Now this is my large case. Let's bring you back out. This is the largest case that I could find as a marker case. I do have to change this particular label on here because they are no longer Sioux color markers. They are the Limoche. And this case is so nice. It has a zipper on the top, zipper on the bottom, and then this part comes completely apart, and then you can open them and just flip through the marker that you want. As I showed in that swatching video, there is your broad tip, and these caps are on tight, let me tell you. So you have your broad tip and you have your fine tip, like all of our more budget-friendly markers. Okay, so that, where does this go? That is the Limoche markers. Let's put these down. Okay, now we have the Colorant markers. Again, I bought all of these Colorant supplies in a great deal that Colorant had the end of last year for their 12 days of Christmas. Part of the package were these markers, the Colorant markers. They are very nice to color with. I have not used them a lot yet, but again, I would like to maybe color a picture with them on camera with you guys. They come, like all Colorant supplies, come in this wonderful case, very hard case. So you don't have to buy a separate case for the markers. And the top flips up. There are some bands up here, so if you want to put something in here. And they are triangular in shape. And again, they have your chisel nib and the fine point, the fine nib. So, very nice marker set. All right. And next we have the Sharpies. I did manage to find, with much searching and you name it, I came up with this color chart. As we all know, Sharpies do not come with names on their barrels. However, I did with my handy dandy label maker. After I found the names for each one, here are the fine tips. I do have my Amazon Basics in here also. I do not have a color chart for them, but each of the Sharpies, I don't know if you can see that, I did put a clear label on with that particular color. So the fine tip is a little bit bigger than, of course, the Ultrafine, but it is a really nice tip for bigger areas, and then smaller areas, of course, you could get out your Ultrafines. Amazon Basics look nearly identical, but they are much cheaper. They color exactly like the Sharpies do. The tip is a little bit different. It comes to a little bit finer tip, which I like. I did go through and I numbered each one because, again, these do not have color names on them. So these are the fine tip. And I will link like all of these supplies if I did get them on Amazon, and these cases. I had some questions about these cases because a lot of people liked them. So I will link them down below. And here are the Ultrafine tips. Again, I do have the Amazon Basics in here also, which very closely resemble the Flair pens. And I did give each one a number. The Sharpies, again, I put the color name in out from my label maker. And yes, very, very fine tip on the Ultrafine Sharpies. The Amazon Basics is identical. And yes, they color very, very nice. Okay, so that is all of the Sharpies. All right, then of course, going along with the Sharpies, we have the Bic Markers. Markets, marking, whatever you want to call them. They changed their name. A lot of really nice colors in this set. And the nice thing is they have color names on the barrel. Now, they come in this nice plastic case, so I am leaving them in this particular case because I can see the colors really nice. I did have all the Sharpies in a case too, but then once I got the Amazon Basics, they didn't all fit in the case. So I opted to just put them in those cases. It is a little bit harder to find a marker that way, but oh well, it is what it is. The fine tip looks, no, these are the Ultrafine. Looks like that. Let me get over here. Okay, so yes, these are the Ultrafine. And then the fine tip exactly matches the Ultrafine set. Again, flips open like this so you can see all of your markers. And then the fine tip looks like this. Again, very similar to the Sharpies, but there's some really pretty colors in the Bic that the Sharpies don't have. A lot more pastel-y type colors. So yeah, those are the Bic markers. And then we have the Amazon Basics, and I gotta see if I can find them over here. Everything's getting buried. Where do I have them? I do not see them. I guess I don't. Oh, the Amazon Basics. Duh. I did create a color chart for them. They are in with the Sharpies. Oh, I'm not awake yet this morning. So this is the color chart for the Amazon Basics. Oh my. These are the new Spectrum Noir Tritones, where there is 3 colors in each marker, and I do have a review and a swatching out of these particular markers in a previous video, so you can go back and look at that. As you can see by the color chart, in each particular marker, they put the colors that would blend most easily, because when you are coloring with markers as well as pencils, for the most part, you kind of want a light, a medium, and a dark tone. So that's what they did. They took their regular Spectrum Noir markers, if any of you have those sets, and they took 3 colors out of that set that they thought blended nicely together, and they put them all in one marker. So we can look at these. I did get the Spectrum Noir case where these will all fit in. I bought the initial set from HSN, and I opted for auto ship. So 4 times throughout the year, I will be getting a set of 6. Excuse the sound. And this is what they look like. They have the black shiny barrel, and it says Tri-Blend by Spectrum Noir, and this particular marker is called Dark Red. I don't know if you can see that. Where am I? There. And then it is DR1, DR3, and DR4. So that will correspond to the color chart that I made. Here is the lightest end. So you just take the end off of here. They are bullet nibs. Okay, then you remove the middle part. That is your medium tone or mid-tone. Then you turn it around, and here is the darkest tone. So it's kind of a neat idea. I'm not sure how long they will last. When I seen the initial video, it said that these were not refillable. Now, a subscriber pointed out that the newest video they have out says they are refillable with their Spectrum Noir inks. I'm not sure how they do that, because I don't know how these nibs are, you know, you're able to pull them out and fill them with ink. But I guess we'll worry about that down the road. So when they designed this case, they left extra room in the back to put the ones that you will be getting in the future. And then there is a nice pocket in the back to put additional things. Okay, so that is the Tritone markers. And then we have the Spectrum Noir Colorista. Let's get back down a little bit. Some really pretty colors in here also. And let me see where I put that case. Oh, they're over here, I think. Oh, I think. Like I said, it's kind of hard to find all these on my desk. Oh, they're buried over here. I got them. All right, so these are the Spectrum Noir Colorista pens, markers, I mean. These I have not used much, and they are a marker that I do want to get out. I do have some of the Colorista color pads to color with, and so that is another video I want to do in the future with these Colorista markers. They are blue, bright blue, and again they come with the these have a very, very fine tip. These were designed for colorists in mind, and that's why they're called Colorista. So yes, these were specifically designed by Spectrum Noir for us. The other tip is a little bit bigger tip. So we have 2 nibs. We have the bigger one, and we have the fine one. So yeah, kind of neat. I like that because I like finer nibs for doing designs. You know me and my designs and patterns. So that is the Colorista set. All right, zipper, there we go. And then we have Fabric Estelle Pit Pens. Now these come in a very nice case where you pull a string up and it tears your pens up. And then kind of like the Chameleons, you can flip it underneath and you can easily see your pens. Mine broke. When I pull on the string, they don't do anything. So I opted to put them in a separate case that I had laying around here. My Sharpies used to be in this case. So once I took the Sharpies out and I put them in that other case, I had this one sitting here. So I opted to put my Pit Pens in here. Okay. Oh, yeah, this one turns sideways. Okay, so this is what I did with the Pit Pens. These are very nice markers or pens. These are not your typical markers. These are India ink. And they have a nice, fine brush tip. So they are a lot of fun to color with. All right, so those are the Pit Pens. Zip them back up. And then we're getting into some fine liners. Well, let's go to another Spectrum Noir product. I just got some of these in, so I just quick swatched. I do want to eventually get all of the rest. I cannot find the names for these particular sets, just the brights. So this is what I have in the case so far. And this case flips open. I'm going to have to get a different case for these now that I got some additional sets. And these are watercolor in a marker. Again, the thing that I like about these, you have your brush tip on one end, and you have your teeny weeny little fine liner on the other end. And yes, being water markers, these are activated with water. I've only used these a couple of times, so again, another thing I want to make a video on. These are the new sets of 12 that I just recently got. The Nature, the Primary, and the Essential set. So yeah, I have to get a new case for these to fit in. Okay, running out of room down here. Some of these I do not actually have swatched out, so I just brought them over to show you. These are my metallic markers, and these are what I want to get out. If you've seen my coloring book collection, in one of the parts I showed the Colorista coloring pads with the dark backgrounds, and they are to be used with these metallic markers. So I put both the Fila and the Spectrum Noir metallic markers on the same color chart. I have since gotten another set of metallic markers, so I'm going to have to swatch these out and add it to the color chart and to this case. So these are all metallic markers. Again, it's in one of these 4 zipper cases. Here are the Fila metallic markers. They have a really fine brush, as you can see, maybe. Would that help? Yes, very fine brush tip. And then we get to the Spectrum Noir metallics, and they have such pretty colors. They have the, like many of their products, they have the fine nib on one end and the brush tip on the other end. So again, my type of marker. All right, and yes, I do have room back here for this particular set. I do have some Sharpie metallic markers. You know you gotta shake these, but these have a super fine nib also. So I wanted to put these in with all the other metallic supplies. So yeah, I will have room to, these are very fine tip also. They have the super, super fine brush tip. Okay, so those are all the metallic markers. Again, another future video to get out those black background coloring pads, and I have never colored on those pads, so that will be an interesting video to see what these do. Okay, the last actual color chart that I made, because the Crayola Fineliners actually came with color names, believe it or not. Crayola typically doesn't. The Fineliners, however, did. This is another case that I used to have my Sharpies in. These were for the super fine. So I just opted to put my Crayola Fineliners in here. And aren't they pretty? Look at all the pretty colors. I love it. I do have room possibly to put something else back here. But if you look at them, like this one says plum, so they do have, where am I? They do have names on them. And then they have a very fine nib. So it's not quite as super duper fine as what, you know, is what most of the other Fineliners are. So these will color in a little bit bigger areas than what those really teeny tiny Fineliners will. So I do like these. All right. So Crayola Fineliners. And then I am going to show you some things that I do not have, believe it or not, swatched out. I did a review on these. These are the Coxes Marker Set. It is a set of 60, and I did find this marker case on Amazon, and I just love it. It has handles that you can bring up, snap into place, and then you open it with these little tabs in the front. And when you open it, down inside the case has little plastic holders, so it holds each marker in place. This is another set that probably will be given away in a future giveaway. I am, however, keeping the case. I really like this case. But these markers come with your typical fine nib and the infamous chisel nib. But they're not bad markers. They're rather nice. Some of them were a little bit drier than others, but not, you know, completely dried out. But I can foresee me not using them with all the other alcohol marker sets I have. So yes, these will be a future giveaway also. Excuse me. Then I do have a bunch of different Fineliners. These are the Artesia Fineliners, and because I do have many sets of Fineliners, these Artesias are going to be another future giveaway. Probably not in the case though. They are triangular in shape like a lot of your Fineliners are. And yes, they have the super duper fine little nib on them. And they do not have a color name on them. So when you make out a chart, I don't know if, like me, I make labels for everything, or some people just write it on a label and tape a number on to each one. So whatever your preference would be. So yes, these will be a future giveaway also. And I just got these in the mail. These are the Statler through, what are they called? 326s? I can't remember. Yes, 326s. I see Zoe Archer using these all the time, and she colors so nice with these. These are her very favorite markers, so I wanted to try them out. So yes, it says Statler 326s on here. It is a German-made marker, like all of Statler products, and it's got a really different nib to it. It's not a super duper little fine liner, but it's not a big nib either. It's kind of in between. I have not colored with these yet, as I just got these in. Have not made a color chart yet for them. They do not have color names on them. So yes, I will be getting my handy dandy label maker out and making a color chart for these. See if I can color as well with them as what Zoe does. Then also I have a review out there on these, and I love this case. Isn't that pretty? Iridescent case. These are the what is Shuttle Art. Oh my, because there's the name is not on the oh, yes it is. Lisa made a liar on me. These are the Shuttle Art Fineliners. And again, this is 100 set, and they are beautiful, really nice colors, and they color so nice for being a cheaper set of fine liners. I just love them. That's one reason I am giving away the other set of fine liners, because I can see me not using them. It has your typical real fine nib like all other fine liners, but these are juicy and they color wonderfully. So yes, I labeled each one. I do have a color chart made, and I'm not sure where it went, now that I think about it. This case was made for pencils. I was able to fit them in. I just put 2, and then I skipped a loop, put 2, and skipped a loop. As you have these in here, these loops do stretch out a bit, so then it's not so hard to get them back in. But yeah, they just have a beautiful array of colors. Look at all them blues. And then all these beautiful greens. I mean, it's just a wonderful set. Bunch of earth tones in there, bunch of grays. So yeah, I seen this on John's channel, the bibliophile colorist. Oh boy, I'm doing real good this morning. Seen them on his channel first, and they looked really nice. And so I thought, I am gonna try these. I can see my labels starting to come off. Might have to tape them down. They are also, like the Statlers, they are triangular in shape. Some like that, some don't. I don't mind it. So that is the Shuttle Art Markers Fineliners. Where is my color chart for these? This is another one. I know I have a color chart out. I use these a lot, and so the color chart might be over by my chair where I color. Bic Art Markers. This is the 100 set. These are awesome. Probably one of my absolute favorite in the budget-friendly markers. I have them, oh, sorry. I have them in this case, and this case, I don't know if you can see, the side opens up, the other side opens up, and then you can lay this flat and find the markers that you want. So I do like this case. Tons of colors. These markers are extremely juicy and wonderful. Again, like most budget-friendly markers, you have your fine nib on one end and your chisel tip on the other. They do all have a color code on the end, not a color number, but they do have a code. And then on the side, it's a metallic little label. There is a color name there. They must have felt they just didn't have the room to put it on the cap itself. But there is a color name for each of them. So yes, this is a wonderful set of markers. Let's get this back together. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I know I have a color chart for them. Some of the others that I have are the Crayola Super Tips. Love using these in my Mystery Mosaic books. And so I do have numbers taped onto the marker that I use in those books. No, it's not the Mystery Mosaics. What's the other ones I have so many of? Can't think right now. Anyhow, these are the Super Tips. We're all familiar with these. They have that kind of nib that's quite different from most other markers. But they work really great in the books that I use them in. So I did number the ones that I use and I need. So, the Crayola Super Tips. Then I have a, excuse me, I don't think this big a set is available any longer. It is the 100, I believe, set of the super markers. Again, I use these for a particular set of coloring books, so I have the ones numbered that I need. These are really nice. They have a long brush nib on one and then they have the very tiny super or fine tip on the other end. I do believe these are available on Amazon yet, but again, I don't think they're available in this large of a set anymore. This pencil case folds out completely. There's good and bads about that. You can see all your markers at once, but you'd have to have the room to open up the case. Okay, some other markers. I have the Fila markers. I'm just going to open up the first zipper. These are also dual tip. They do not have color names like most. And like the previous markers, these have a quite large brush tip and the very fine liner on the other end. These are a nice marker also. Then the two types of fine liners that most people are familiar with, and I have them in these wraps, are the Statler and the Stabilos. And I do have the fine tip. These are the Statler set. They have the super fine tip. And these are wonderful markers. They are triangular. And so that is the very fine tip. And then I have the same markers in the regular tip. So I like the tips on these. So these are the Statlers. Roll them back up. And I did get these wraps on Amazon also, and I like it. I like the wraps. And I just tuck it under rather than making a bow. And then, yes, the other set I have are the Stabilos. And again, I have the Real Fine set. These are the 88s. And they are the super fine liner, super fine tip. And then the other matching set, these are the 68s. And they have a little bit bigger of a nib, just like the Statlers. Again, very nice pens. Some people prefer these over the Statlers, and then others prefer the Statlers over these. So it's all just kind of personal preference. And I only have a few things to go. Yes, I have a ton of markers. I have more markers than pencils, believe it or not. I am getting more and more into markers. These are the Megsbud markers. I believe that's how it is pronounced. These are, this is another set of markers that will be in a future set or a future giveaway. They are a water-based marker, and these, again, have the bigger brush tip on one end and the fine liner on the other end. So yes, I will be giving these away in another giveaway in the future. It is quite a big set. You know, they do go on both sides. Not sure how many is in there, if it's 100. And then over here, I do not have written down, and I didn't make a label, unfortunately, on this set, and I cannot remember. I know I got these not that long ago, so I'm going to have to go and look on Amazon and see what these are, because I did take the time to put a number. Oh, these are the Statlers. Okay, I had one set that I did not know what they were. But then, oh yes, then I did put a label on them. Okay, so these are the Statler dual-ended markers. And yes, again, I don't know where the color chart is for these because I did take the time to mark them all. They have this type of, again, it's a different type of nib, probably close to the Crayola Super Tips, but yet a little different. And then the other end is, it's not a, a real fine liner like all of our other fine liners are. They're a little bit bigger than that. And I really like this nib. You can still get into really teeny tiny areas. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, I like that nib, and I am looking forward to working with these. I did color, I think, one picture with these so far. Like I said, they are new. I got these not too long ago. Let's turn it around so it is the same as all the others. Okay, so those are the Statlers. Last but not least, and I didn't know if I should include these in the marker video. These are all my Posca and paint pens, and I have quite a few of them. These are all of the Poscas that I have. I have some really pretty pastels back here. Then I bought some off of these. It was either AliExpress or Wish. I have not opened all of these yet. I got these not too long ago either. These have a, I think I have this one open, yeah. It has a, it's a smaller nib. It's not real big, but it's not super fine. It's kind of in between. You can see that it says Posca on here. It does have Japanese writing. And then these are glitter ones. They do have the extra fine point, so a little bit finer than the other paint pens, but these are very glittery. And again, I think, not sure if I got these on Amazon or if I did send for them from AliExpress. It could be AliExpress. And then back here, I just have a bunch of black Posca pens because I do a lot of coloring of black backgrounds. And so I got all the different various sizes. I use this size the most, so I have an extra one because that one's about done. And then here are the rest of the glitter paint pens that I have. So that is all of my markers. Yes, I know, it's quite a few. We're at like 50 minutes. It took me a half hour to show my pencils. Took me a little bit longer to show these because of the fact that I had to reach down behind me and place everything back down on the floor and running out of room. So I thank you for bearing with me with doing all of that and kind of getting settled here and making room on my desk. I hope you enjoyed looking at all of my different markers. Now, I would like to state, and I didn't state this in my display of all my colored pencils, with these videos that I'm making, and in addition, my coloring book collection videos, that particular series, I didn't state it in there either. But I want to state that this in no means is a bragging video. Okay, I am not bragging about the supplies that I have. I'm just showing you what, you know, I all have in my collection. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. The last and final video in this series is going to be my miscellaneous supplies. So my stickles and oh, I have the Ranger inks and I have the pan pastels, things like that, things that just didn't fit in the pencil or the marker category. All of my aqua brush pens, like the zigs and things like that. So that video will also be coming up shortly. I am going to go put all of these markers back where they belong, and then I will be getting the next set of stuff out, and I will be making that video. I do plan on putting all 3 of these videos out today yet, possibly tonight by the time I get them all edited and rendered and uploaded. So I hope you liked, again, seeing all my markers. If you did, give me that big thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing and hit that bell so you know when I put out new videos. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day on this Friday. And as always, happy coloring.